Hello, lovelies. Welcome to the ceremony portion of the Prosperity Kit. Our very first ceremony is going to be the candle unbinding ceremony. So grab your kit because you're going to need quite a few things from inside your kit. Also going to want to grab a bay leaf or a small piece of paper and some salt, as well as either a coffee filter, a plate, or a paper plate or bowl that you can melt candle wax on. And of course, a lighter as well. We're going to get right into it. So starting out, you'll want to have an idea of what you are unbinding from. One of the candles represents you, and one of the candles represents what you're letting go of. Now, some people love to have themselves represented as the black candle because it's full of all the color and all the light. And others like the white candle for purity and being clear from everything. So you get to decide which candle is yours, the black one or the white one. Once you've decided that, then you get to decide which candle represents the obstacle, whether that's a person or people, or the obstacle of perhaps money itself and abundance itself. So as you're meditating on it and trying to get an awareness, listening to the videos previously will definitely help. And if you still don't have an idea, I recommend grabbing your cowrie shell and putting a little drop of your ancestor oil right in the middle of the shell. This opens up communications and ancestors. And I would take it and I would put it right here on your head, either on your third eye or on the top of your head, whichever you feel called to. We all move energy and information differently, so it's important to do what feels in alignment with you. And as you rest that on, allowing yourself, if you have to journal or if you already have journaled, to really get centered in what you're letting go of. Are you letting go of poverty consciousness? Are you letting go of it being more righteous to be poor? Of people loving you more if they can give you money and you're always in need of them? Are you letting go of the fact that you need to have money in order to be loved, or you need to be loved in order to have money? What types of ideas and thoughts are coming to mind? Or is there a person that every time money comes up, that person comes to mind, whether it's your mother's voice in your head or an ex-lover who said you weren't worth anything and controlled your money? Diving into all of those pieces and allowing them to be present. Now, some of us, we have a lot of resources and places that are pulling in these negative things. So this is where I recommend a piece of paper, writing it down. And we can always burn it. So having your piece of paper, writing it down. Now, if it's one specific person or one specific word, I would write it on the bay leaf and then you're gonna burn it with the candle. So take a second, dive in and get really, really clear about what it is you're unbinding from. An ex-lover, an ex-partner, an ex-version of yourself. What is it that it is time to detach and let go of? Now, write it down or pause the video while you write it down and then come back. Like, really write it down. That's part of it. Okay, so if you paused it and then now you've unpaused it, that means you wrote it down, you got really clear, and if you needed some more time to get clear, it's okay. You don't have to rush this process because this is a slower process. We're actually going to burn the candles for quite a while, so you'll want to be in a state where you can light the candles and watch them burn and make sure your house doesn't burn down. The other thing you can do now that you're clear, I recommend grabbing your Shiva Lingam and your selenite. So I've been teaching practitioners how to release a lot of energetical things. One of those would be hooks, which are attachments from other energies and entities. But the Shiva Lingam also helps with ancestral trauma, and it also helps to release any of these old programs or fragments that keep retracting and keeping us bound. Thinking of if something is tying you up or tying up your money and always keeping it out of reach, this is what we're going to use. Now, anytime you use a Shiva Lingam, you always use one pointed end versus the other. Now, the Shiva Lingam is cut to a specific shape for a specific purpose. In that specific shape, energy goes in one way and comes out the other. And so what we're going to do is we're going to allow these attachments and beliefs to move out of us and into the Shiva Lingam. Now, we use the selenite on the opposite end of the part of our body where we feel it. And the reason we do that is because it acts as a shield. It's calling in archangels to come and protect us and guide us. If you have a loved one that's passed away, you can invite them to come and be part of this. If you have ancestors that you're clearing this from, or family members that passed on this programming, it's really important that we allow ourselves to allow the space for us to heal and also for them to heal. So let's say for me, I'm clearing an ancestral pain of no matter what I do, money always leaves me. No matter what I do, money always leaves me. It comes and it goes just as fast, and I can't seem to hold onto it. And when we get really deep into money, we love flow. We don't want stagnancy. We want money to move, but we want more to come, right? And so I can say out loud or write down, I'm releasing this attachment and this belief with my mother that money always leaves me. And no matter what I do, there's never enough. Money doesn't grow on trees, so it can't stay with me, and that I have to be scarce and I have to be a victim. So as I state that, I'm going to find the area of my body where I'm going to feel it the most. So as I say these statements, let's say I feel it right here in my head. I'm going to actually put the Shiva Lingam on one side of my body and the selenite on the other. And I state out loud, I release this program, these contracts, these ties, and this belief that no matter what I do, money always leaves me. I release any ties, contracts, and binds that no matter what I do, money always leaves me. And you can do that 3 times. So anytime you state something you're clearing or state something you're invoking in, you always say it 3 times. The first time, the mind hears it and starts to analyze and process it. The second time, the heart begins to feel it and it starts to sink in. The third time, it goes in through your womb space, or if you're masculine, your power center, which is a portal, and it starts to move it through your body. So receives in the mind, feels in the heart, and then passes through out of our body. So that is how you use a Shiva Lingam and the selenite. Now, if you feel like you have ties and cords and little fragments attached, feel free to roll the selenite over your whole body. We talked about this in our other kits of using the selenite wand to clear any energies and attachments, and especially get your mind up here and way back here, your support system. If you have low back and hip problems, usually it's a money problem. So you want to make sure you're cleansing that space too. And I also like to cleanse with selenite over my candles before I light them in the ceremony. So let's go ahead and light our candles now that we've set the intention of what we're clearing, and I'll walk you through that process. Start by placing both candles not touching upright in a dish of salt or with a circle of salt around them. It's important that they don't touch, as this is an unbinding. Remember, one candle is you, and one candle is the item that you are unbinding yourself from or person. As you burn your bay leaf or piece of paper, focus on your intention of what you are releasing from your past, what cycles, what patterns, in order to receive. By placing an ancestral protection around, we can add an extra element of circular healing. Placing your cowrie shell, Shiva Lingam, and selenite, adding a drop of ancestor oil to each candle and to each of the crystals on the altar. This is to invoke and add in extra protection and extra cleansing. Finally, light your string and watch the cords unbind. As the fire that ties the binds together begins to melt away, so does your connection. So does the hold that these things of the past have on you, allowing them to burn until the bond is broken, till the candles are melted, and we begin a new beginning. As you watch it burn, focus on your intention. Watch it release, watch it melt away and be destroyed. What is no longer serving, what is no longer part of your existence, what is no longer part of your awareness. This is an old story, old past, old lineage. As the fire burns and releases, watch it melt away, all of the old, and receive the new. This is where focusing on your intention, gazing into the fire, and letting the candles completely burn and melt before moving them comes into play. Remembering that with ceremonial candles, you don't ever want to blow something out, but you do want to snuff it out if it gets too great. Maybe have a cup of water nearby if you need to. Making the grid larger if needed to. This one got really big. We must have had a lot of ancestral sludge to move. The key is to allow it to burn until that one candle that represents you is all alone and free. Once it has burned completely out, bury it in the earth, giving it back, letting what was be received into the earth.